But let's move into the next topic, and we are talking about, I think, Dave and I's, outside of Luka Doncic, our biggest draft crush. Would you say that, Dave?
He's pretty up there.
For the past 3 years, what we've been doing this, right? 3 years. Would you say that he's
Ben, but like that was just no brainer.
You take Ben over this player?
Ooh, at draft time, no, I wouldn't have.
Okay.
It would be Luka.
This player, Ben,
and then Ben.
I know you wouldn't have this player. In your top 3.
not even close.
Yours was, I think,
Lonzo.
Yeah, it was. Well, I think yours was Trae Young, yes. Lonzo, and Buddy Hield.
I don't know. I
think that was your 3. You rode the Buddy Hield and Lonzo digs pretty hard.
No. What I'm debating is, here's the debate. Did I like Lonzo more than Trae Young? I think I liked Lonzo better. I think it was more on the Lonzo train than I was on the Trae Young trade.
Yeah, but I think those are your 3 guys.
Yeah, no, I'm just debating on which is number 1, Lonzo or Trae.
Man, what a garbage.
I'm trying to think. Was there anyone else besides Buddy? I gotta look at that draft, but go ahead.
Well, no, I'm not saying. I mean, they could be 2 from a draft.
Yeah, no, but like my one guy from that draft. I don't know if it was Buddy.
My guy this year's gonna be Naz Reid, but we're talking about Markelle Fultz.
You're so wrong.
Who's not?
He's trash.
We're going to talk about Markelle Fultz being traded to the Orlando Magic. Jonathan Simmons, a protected OKC pick. It's top 20 protected, and a second-round pick going to Philadelphia. And Markelle Fultz, the former number 1 overall pick, going to the Orlando Magic. The Magic finally got their point guard. Dave, you've been mocking it for years now, and they finally get their guy, the best guy you've ever mocked him, at least potentially on paper.
That's true.
However, we obviously know what he's been going through. He hasn't been healthy. The shoulder's been messed up. Apparently, right after, since he was drafted, he's still going through rehab apparently for thoracic outlet syndrome. What should we expect from Markelle Fultz? Is there hope still left for Markelle Fultz going to Orlando?
Oh, there's absolutely still hope out there, because you have to remember, even without the shot there, he is still an excellent facilitator. He can still drive to the cup. He's creative. He is absolutely still there's hope for him. But if that shot comes back, ooh, that's dirty. And I feel bad, because I've been saying if that shot comes back for quite a long time now, and I don't know how much longer I can keep saying it. But look, Markelle Fultz was by far the most polished product as a scorer that we had seen in ages. Coming out to the NBA from a freshman in college, even during his AAU days, he was roasting people at the under-18 game. Like, he had everything lined up to be an absolute stud in the NBA. So I'm not done on him. He's 20. I think he's still 20, isn't he? He can't even drink right now.
I think he's 21.
Is he?
Yeah.
He might be 21.
I'm looking it up.
Because I think Lonzo's 21.
He's 20.
Oh!
Is he really?
He'll turn 21 May 29th.
Damn.
It's good.
That's insane.
It's good. He's still 20 years old.
Is Lonzo still 20? But yeah, I mean, Markelle, he's extremely young. But
Lonzo's 21.
Okay. If we're still, thank you for that. If we're still talking about,
you want to know Lonzo's middle name? Just to interrupt you, Anderson.
Is it really?
Lonzo Anderson Ball.
His probably mom's last name, maiden name's Anderson. Anyways, going to the Markelle Fultz thing though is like, if he can get his shot, is like if Zion can develop a 3, if Ben Simmons can develop a 3. Really?
If Zion can shoot a 3, yeah.
Is it worse than Ben?
No, he's a better shooter than Ben. Period.
With this.
Yep. Period. Currently.
I mean, I just don't know if he's ever going to get to that player.
He's got the mid-range hezzy Jimbo.
He had that one. He had that one on the right side, going like away from the elbow, like right in that like spot, like not a 3, but it kind of I can't forget. Pretty much the wing.
His elbow extended.
Yeah, that elbow extended. Hezzy Jimbo, but that's the only one we've seen. And then like the next game, he's doing this shit where he's like doing the roll with the free throw. Like, I don't know what this kid can be.
Yeah.
And I personally don't have any hope. And I think I'm going to have my expectations set low. Well, here's my thing: is I'll set my expectations low.
My expectations are still middle. Like it's like if he can be a average starting point guard. in the NBA.
My hope is just the fact that he can play. Like, because I don't even know if he can play. Like, am I wrong here, Ricky?
Is he better than DJ Augustine?
I'm going to reach down here.
I don't know.
I'm going to pull out a word that starts with a B, and I'm starting to polish it off.
Oh, no.
That's where I'm at.
No, you put that away, sir.
I am polishing it off. No,
bowling
bust.
Ball. Oh.
A bust.
That's bowling ball.
That is where I am getting.
I want to hear that.
Because, like...
You take off your headphones.
Because on the 76ers, like, when he was on the 76ers, you could say, well, you know what? He's not a bust yet. Well, now you've been traded. That means that team that went and traded up for you has said... nah, bro, we gonna get rid of you because we don't believe in you.
It's the wrong timeline.
But now it is, for Markelle Fultz, it's do or die right here. These 3 years, if he does not fix it by the end of this contract, I'm pulling out that B word and I'm just gonna put it on the table. You're a bust. For the Magic, though, I'm conflicted about it because I get what they say where it's, oh, well, it was a low price, like low risk, high reward.
It absolutely is.
I get that, but I still hate it. I still hate it.
What?
Because I'd rather keep the pick next year. I'd rather keep Jonathan Simmons. I'll just take Darius Garland in the draft. Because there are so many less questions.
So you go for another injured player?
But there's less questions for him than a Markelle Fultz.
How the hell are you getting Darius Garland?
In the draft?
Yeah.
Easily. They're 7th. I think Garland would go 7th.
That's not the pick they got. They got OKC. And it's top 20 protected.
I'm saying this, like,
the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, I'd rather keep my Thunder pick for next
Philly.
year. And for the Magic, I'll just take Darius Garland right now, which would be the 7th pick in the draft, because to me, yes, he's coming off an injury, but there's way less questions about him than Markelle Fultz.
Here's the thing, though. You can take both of them.
True.
You can still take Darius Garland.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
Why not?
They still don't have a point
Or
guard.
you can take Kevin Porter. Like, there's no reason, no law that's making you not take another guard because you have Jonathan Isaac at 3. You have Aaron Gordon at the 4. You have Mo Bamba at the 5. So now you just need to fill out that 1 and 2 spot. And Markelle Fultz, at his best, can possibly be a combo guard. So why couldn't you take a Darius Garland? Why couldn't you take a Kevin Porter?
Combo guard.
Yeah, I mean, like, you have the ability to still take a guard. I don't think this takes away. Orlando, this is the lowest risk you could possibly take.
Yeah.
You're giving away a 20th pick, like a 24th pick, Jonathan Simmons, who you weren't even using, you don't need, and a second-round pick. That's nothing for a guy who could possibly be like James Harden level if he ever finds his confidence, his shot, anything.
But that's the big thing. If. And at this point,
of course, but
with
like,
Markelle Fultz, the more you say if, the more it's like, well, that ain't going to happen.
But here's the thing is, like,
I don't think we're ever going to see
what have you
the
lost?
ifs. So, like, let's stop saying. Well, and that's the thing where
you
I said
lost anything.
I'm kind of
pick,
iffy on it because I get the low risk, high reward to where I'm not full on the hate, but there's part of me that's like, you know what? Do you have to take that risk? But the only reason why it's not that big of a deal is because of how low the risk is.
Give me another point guard who will be there at 24 in the next draft. Like, it's just, you're not going to get a better one than Markelle Fultz.
That's the thing, is like, you couldn't package this for a guy with more potential. Like, this is the best deal you could have gotten for that price, and I don't think you're giving up something that's going to handicap your future at all. And this is a guy that can even bolster your future. Like, I think this was a great deal for Orlando. I wouldn't question
amazing.
that.
Yeah.
It's just, did Philadelphia possibly give up on him too early? And I don't think the answer is yes fully, because you gave up a guy who is still on his rookie deal and is still a guy who you traded up for, and I mean you pretty much gave away Jason Tatum for him and a future pick. It's looking like a horrible deal. It is a horrible deal because that deal's over.
Danny Ainge wins
because
again.
Even if Markelle Fultz turns out to be something, you didn't. He's not doing anything for you.
Exactly.
But you even look at him, it's like they traded him because they wanted the cap space, because they now don't have to pay him $13 million or $10 million next year, which is going to be put towards Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris, which, I mean, it's kind of sad to say.
Right, but I don't think it was just the cap space. I think it was...
I don't think so either, but that's a plus.
Yeah.
Like, if he was costing $2 million, they would have kept him.
Probably. But I think it was just they needed to move on from that chapter because their timeline said, oh, we got Jimmy Butler, we're making another move for Tobias Harris, we are in engaged championship contender mode. And you know who doesn't fit that? Markelle Fultz. We need someone who can help us today. We don't care about tomorrow, next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. We just don't care. Like, we're here to win now. And I think this is the move that they made says that. I don't think it says anything about, whether they think Markelle Fultz will or will not ever find his shot back. It was just they needed to move forward as an organization. No drama, no nothing. And again, it sets them up nicely for the future to get that double signing of Jimmy and Tobias for long term. But I don't think it was ever like we have zero faith. I think it's just it's too much of an unknown that he will not be able to help us when we need him in the next 2 years.
Yeah, I think you look at Fultz, and I think it is a great situation for him to possibly thrive.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Philadelphia, it was a move that needed to be made. Because, again, like you obviously mentioned the fact that they're bringing in Tobias, they're bringing in Jimmy, they got to spend that money, and they're also trying to just get players to help them now. And Fultz wasn't going to help him now. I think that's a great point that you made. But it's also like you're getting him out of Philly where it seemed like Philly fans were turning on him, Philly media was turning on him. It was getting toxic, and Orlando was just looking for anything bright. Orlando was looking for a guard, and they got a guard. And if he doesn't work out, well, shit, that's not our pick that we wasted. Like, we got rid of Jonathan Simmons, who I don't think any Magic fan truly cared about.
No.
And we're all talking about Jonathan Simmons as like an eighth man for Philadelphia, and I don't think anyone's too hyped about it. And you're looking at that Oklahoma City trade, the Oklahoma City pick, that could possibly swing that Victor Oladipo deal, because that's where you got that pick from, and you gave up Sabonis and Vic for Serge Ibaka. Like, that's looking like a garbage deal. And if you're able to take that and possibly get something out of it, like Markelle Fultz,
try to
that could
balance the
possibly
scales again.
save it a little bit. So I mean, I don't think anyone's going to kick themselves in Oklahoma City for doing that, because they ended up getting you Paul George. But I think with at least the Fultz thing, that can at least save that trade. So I really like the deal for Fultz, just because you're going to go to a place in Orlando where there's not high expectations for you. There's not a lot of media out there covering the Orlando Magic. And, I think that the Amway Center can get bumping again if this is a team that gets to the playoffs. And you could kind of be seen as a savior if you're able to come in and be productive. Again, it's a ton of ifs, like Ricky's saying. I don't really want to throw out the word bust there, because I think it's too obvious.
He's 20.
Well, but it's also too obvious too, because like if he doesn't play and he's released, like
he's Greg
after
Oden.
this year, he's Greg Oden. He's Anthony Bennett.
No, Anthony Bennett's different.
How?
Anthony Bennett was never a great player. In his prime
It was
of
just
college, he was never a great player.
It was just a bad
Markelle
draft year.
Fultz was a phenomenal player in college. Yes, his team couldn't win games, but he was an incredible individual talent. So was Greg Oden.
But I'm saying more of the fact that they didn't make it to another contract.
Right.
Bennett was.
Oh, I think somebody will give Markelle Fultz a contract. There's enough teams desperate for point guard reclamation.
No,
the Suns will do it
you're
right
talking
away.
about the team that drafted him didn't make it to the second contract.
No, I'm talking about second NBA contract.
Okay.
Anthony Bennett didn't make it to one.
Okay.
I think Markelle Fultz is still a possibility.
Didn't Greg Oden get a 10-day from Miami or something like that?
Yeah, I think he won a ring with Miami.
Yeah.
Because
he was like LeBron James' father behind him.
Yeah, that's why I didn't throw Greg Oden in there. I think Greg didn't make it to it. Not right away, though.
Right. He was rehabbing for quite some time. But, I mean, he was, again, incredibly talented. It's just his health gave out on him. And I know the case is there to be made about the mental status of Markelle Fultz. But because nothing's public, all I can say is he has a diagnosed condition now, and that's being addressed correctly for the first time in the last 2 years.
The thing with Fultz that I just kind of wanted to push just a little bit is, if he doesn't make it to that second contract, and if you're talking about like reclamation projects, it's just, can he actually be out on the floor? Like, I think that would be a win for Orlando if he's able to at least put up, like, he's able to come back at some point in this series and able to finish out hopefully like the last 20 games for Orlando, and then you look at next year, hopefully he can play like 70 games for you, and I think that would be a win for this trade, just to see what he can do.
Yeah.
But even then, if he goes out there, he's plays 70 games, he's not able to do anything, I think he could definitely not be looked at.
We're talking about the guy who is the youngest triple-double in NBA history. He's going to be able to
That doesn't mean shit anymore.
He had the youngest triple-double in NBA history without being able to shoot from the outside. You have to give him some credit for that.
Not really.
Wow.
I mean,
I'm just going to say...
do triple-doubles mean anything anymore? I mean, Luka's doing it. I mean, we have Russ doing it for a whole year. What? I mean, like, no, honestly, make the argument that they do. Because, like, what did that... when was that game? Who did they play? Like, it's not that memorable anymore.
Yeah, we don't care about Russ no more.
Russ is averaging another triple-double. Why do you hate us?
Because...
It's all about James Harden now.
I'm just asking that question because Luka just broke the record again. Like, Lonzo did it, and then Markelle broke it in the same year, and then Luka did it. Like,
no, Luka didn't break it. Luka broke the 30-10-10.
The 30-10-10. So, I mean, like, we have these rookies just coming in and doing it. It's not that impressive anymore.
I would
Markelle
still
had like
say
11, 10,
out
and
of
11.
these, 60 rookies drafted, one person doing something that hasn't been done in NBA history every single year is still pretty freaking impressive. And I would definitely say that statistically contributing to your team in a winning effort in every possible category is impressive. I think that you may have lost your lackluster of it's a unique special thing because it's happening often, sure, but the point of the matter is he's still doing some of everything, which means, guess what? You have a very diverse player who's able to contribute to your team winning in multiple assets or multiple aspects.
I mean, he put up 13, 10, and 10 in that game against Milwaukee. And Giannis only played 22 minutes. Tony Snell played 25. Sterling Brown got 32 minutes.
And how many did he play?
Huh?
How many did Markelle play?
Markelle played 26?
Yeah.
25.
Yeah, so in 25 minutes or less, he had a triple-double.
25-15.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Last time I checked.
I mean, he shot like 45% from the field. Like, I just...
Numbers, like, do they even mean anything?
He wasn't doing it against great competition. Like, if Markelle Fultz put up
The Bucks were a playoff team, were they not?
But you were going up against their actual playoff lineup. You were playing up against Jabari Parker and Sterling Brown and Tyler Zeller and Brandon Jennings and Thon Maker and Matthew Dellavedova, and Jet got in 5 minutes in that game.
I'm surprised Jet didn't get more.
Yeah, Jet got 5 in that game. He didn't even hit a 3.
They loved him.
Like, you're playing John Henson and Tony Snell for 25 minutes. Like,
Tony Snell's probably been a 25-minute player like all the years he's been there, though. Like, he's a 40+% three-point shooter and a good defensive wing.
Giannis got less minutes than Markelle Fultz.
Quit talking like he's trash.
I mean, but Giannis got less minutes than Markelle Fultz that game. Like, it's not like... I think triple doubles can lose their meaning if they're not in context.
I don't think so.
Whatever.
We have to agree to disagree.
I mean, hopefully he can put up more triple doubles. I'd be great. It'd be fantastic.
I don't think he needs to. I think it's just he needs to come back and just play games, and that's all. All it comes down to is if he can come back and play games for the Magic, this is a win on their end.
And that's the thing with me where I am questioning that if I had to put my money on it right now, he ain't getting that second contract. He is going to fizzle out and then be nothing after. Like, I think it's going to be so bad to where this year happens, next year happens, the Magic go, well, this was fun, and then let him go.
Why? Exactly?
Like, he doesn't, like, I just don't see, like, we talk about, and Dave even said how long he's been saying it. We've been saying what if for so long to where I'm like, I don't see any visual proof that things are going to change and that he's going to find his game. Stella's not going to get her groove back. He's going to go through this year, go through next year in my mind, and then the Magic will have a choice. And let's say they do draft Darius Garland and he plays better. They'll say, why are we going to pay you $12 million when we got this kid on a second year of his rookie contract? Have fun, Markelle.
I think the biggest thing for Fultz will just be playing, and I think I'm going to contradict myself. Like I said, like even if he plays 70 games next year, like it's still up in the air that he might not get a second contract. I think if he plays, he can still like be a contributor. I think he just might get like a 1-year deal if he's not blowing the world off its hinges. Because then teams might throw an RFA deal at him and make the Magic match it.
I mean, worst case scenario, he's basically Alfred Payton, right? I'm saying worst case scenario. Yeah. He's basically Alfred Payton. Who was the Magic?
The worst case scenario is he could be much worse than Alfred Payton.
I think worst is he's not playing. I think if he plays for you, you get... If he's playing, the worst potential outcome is Alfred Payton.
Yeah. I think that being on this team... being on this team, I think that you have the ability to distribute. Because you have Aaron Gordon running a pick and roll. Mo Bamba's a big body. Vucevic is still on this team. He's a big body too. If you play this year,
knocking down from the outside. Same with Ross.
Like I mean, there's the ability to be effective on this team. It's just being out there. I just don't know if I can trust that. Again, it's huge ifs. So I think it's the right scenario for him. And if it doesn't work here, that's why I'm saying he might not make it to another NBA contract. If he's hurt, he's not trusting himself. I just want to see him be like, don't shoot ever again. Just drive, because he's really good at driving. He's got a great body. He's got great length. He's smart. He's crafty.
For Giannis.
Yeah, he's crafty. Like, just wait 2 years until you start shooting. Like, I just want to see him playing, and I don't know if that's gonna happen because we haven't even heard news about if he's gonna play for Orlando. We didn't hear news about
how rehabbing
was going.
They were aiming at G League for both he and Zaire together.
Mm-hmm. Well, they put Patton and Zaire together.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Patton and Zaire were together. He was further out. Yeah, you're right.
But even then, it was 4 to 6 weeks, and that was months ago.
Yeah,
it was like 2 months ago.
Do you think the Magic still do something like that, or do we not see them next year? And the Magic plan is, let's just get you ready for next season.
Oh, let's try to get this year.
Yeah, like this year, kind of play it low, rehab, and then like, hey,
I don't know if
let's get you ready for 2019, 2020.
50-50, he plays a game this year, going forward. Like, it's just, we haven't had any communication, so it's hard to say that he 100% will be back, so 50-50. Like, if he's healthy, sure, put him out there. There's no harm that can be done at this point.
And the thing is that, him and his agent, Raymond Brothers, and himself, they could have just not liked the way the 76ers were handling it, and maybe he's just going to be absolutely fine and play, next week.
Yeah.
Like I think that we don't know what's going on.
Right.
I would even put it like 20-80 that he doesn't play because I just don't know. Like I don't trust this going on at all because I think he's been healthy this whole time. It's all been his head. Ooh. And I don't know what's happening on. I don't know if it's the yips. I just think he's got a ton of shit in his head. He's got to figure it out, and I hope he does. I'm not saying I'm not trying to bash any mental problems or mental issues or mental health problems that he's dealing with. But it's just something that I don't know what the hell's going on with him, and maybe it is all physical, but maybe it's also making up in his head that there is something physical because he was such a great basketball player and he just hasn't been able to find it. It's happened before. I just don't know if it's what the situation is until we see him out on the floor. Can't really say it, but Markelle Fultz, I think he's in the right place to thrive. I think the team's a good fit for him. I think the arena, I think the city's a good fit for him.
Yeah.
It's just he's got to do it now. It's all on Markelle to go out and be the #1 draft pick of the 2017 draft, where Donovan Mitchell was taken, Jason Tatum was taken, De'Aaron Fox was taken, Lonzo Ball was taken. Wrong draft? No, De'Aaron Fox was in that draft, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because De'Aaron Fox ate that booty.
Yeah, so you gotta go out and prove it.
I do have one final question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you surprised it wasn't the Suns making an effort to get him? Because there were two teams in the running, and it was Suns or Magic.
And it was a cheap thing. I think the only thing would just be who would the Suns have to give up that's equal to
Jonathan Simmons. Depends how much they value Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, well, because then he's an RFA.
And they wouldn't pick him up anyway for next year, so that's equivalent.
He is younger, though, so I think that
But he's a good defender.
But I think the Sixers were probably looking at the playoff experience.
Potentially, yes.
That Simmons had
from the Spurs.
So I think that could be something, and also Brett Brown's Brett Brown knows that he can play in a similar system because obviously Brett came from the that pop tree.
Could offer him Rashawn Holmes back.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
I know they got Boban, but still.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that both these teams didn't have guards to offer up to him. Like, if they had a guard to offer up, like maybe even DJ Augustin, I'm surprised DJ wasn't thrown in that deal to work off the bench.
They would literally have nothing then. The Magic.
Yeah, but what are they playing for?
Well, and
they can't just go full Suns and not have a point guard.
Well, and if I'm the Suns too, they're in a different situation than the Magic because, like how I said with the Magic, why would you do this? You can take Darius Garland in the draft. If you're the Suns, they were probably sitting there going, you know what? We're not going to give up too much because right now in the draft, if we stick where we're at, we miss on Zion, but we can get Ja at 2 and still be fine to where maybe that's what played into them not really pressing to get him Markelle Fultz.
But I think they didn't have an OKC pick to give up, but they could have probably given up a ton of 2s.
Is it also weird to just realize that Orlando has 11 more wins than Phoenix with all that young talent on Phoenix? Orlando just winning games.
12,
I know it's the East-West thing, but still, it's
23.
They also have an All-Star. They have Vucevic. And I think you have veterans that aren't really. I mean, you have young players and more young talent, but you also have veterans who are coming out playing under Steve Clifford, who is a guy who can get that team. Yeah, I mean, he's a guy who's his teams will be close to 500, just not good in the playoffs.
Sorry, I tangented a couple
times. You're fine. That's going to do it for the Markelle Fultz trade. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think Markelle will have a resurgence in his career? We all sure hope so, but it's definitely going to be a tough road for Markelle to climb. And hopefully for the Magic they do, because we would love to see him with a point guard and hopefully a future superstar. I'd love to see Markelle Fultz thrive, especially in Orlando, because maybe we could stop giving them so much shit too. I would like to do that. But anyways, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below.